Hello and welcome back to Cody in the Cinema. Today I wanted to discuss an actress from Hollywood's history who I believe to be among the best, most talented we ever had. And this actress's name is Lee Remick. And so I'm going to recommend 3 films she was in, starting with, she only had a small role, but a big one, A Face in the Crowd. This is in the Criterion Collection, directed by Elia Kazan, who did so many wonderful films. And the story, if you have never heard of this, stars Andy Griffith in just a landmark role for him as Lonesome Rhodes, a drunk who gets pulled out of prison by Patricia Neal, who's hosting like a radio show, and he kind of takes this Beatles-esque rise to fame. And Lee Remick does not have a large role in this one, and in fact, you'd almost maybe could miss that she's even in it, but if it were not for her, her screen presence, because like I said, she doesn't have a lot that she's given to do. She's only allowed to do certain things as a cheerleader, certain moves, certain motions, and almost all of her performance has to be conveyed through the use of body language. And she has very little dialogue, but when she does come on screen, she really shows up. I mean, this is a movie with Andy Griffith, Patricia Neal, Walter Matthau, and for her to stand out like that really caught my attention the first time I watched the film. And this is a must-see if you're a fan of the Criterion Collection, and a good introduction to this actress in her role, like I said, as a cheerleader, this small-town cheerleader who kind of gets wrapped up in this over-the-top fame that Andy Griffith's character experiences. And ever since I saw this picture, I really wanted to watch more Lee Remick. And I recently found this at Big Lots of all places. I didn't know this picture existed. Wild River. And Wild River, apparently, Martin Scorsese was a fan of this. But if you've not heard of this, so this stars Montgomery Clift and Lee Remick. Okay, they're they get a lot of the most screen time there. And Montgomery Clift's character, he has to go to a small town in Tennessee and tell some of the residents, hey, you've got to move off your land because there's going to be a flood in this valley and, you've got to leave. And he tries to convince this old woman in her little fold to leave the land. Also directed by Kazan, this film was. And another terrific performance from Lee Remick, who is in the family that has to sort of leave. And this movie's as much about her transformation as it is his, or anyone else in the film for that matter. There is a scene in this movie where she's talking to Montgomery Clift's character, and most of what is conveyed is extremely dependent upon timing, facial expressions, like very minute stuff that she pulls off pretty flawlessly here. And watching that performance, I don't think but a handful of actresses could have really pulled off the one scene I'm thinking of where she's in her old house. And that gave me even more respect for this actress. And Montgomery Clift's fine in this. I mean, he doesn't really stand out compared to her. It's almost like she's in a different generation of acting than he is. And you'll really notice that on screen. But she's terrific. She plays a role that I don't know how many actresses would have wanted to have taken this at the time. 1960, it says. But definitely check this out if you've never heard of it. And I wanted to talk about one more film where this is one of my favorite films. It's one of the most difficult, brutal films to watch you'll ever see. Days of Wine and Roses. And it's unfortunate for Jack Lemmon because he was going up against Gregory Peck that year for To Kill a Mockingbird in the Oscars. But this is a story of this guy. He works this job where he kind of has to do some unethical stuff to keep it. It's not like he's like throwing bodies in a lake kind of unethical, but he just does some stuff he's not really proud of. And he kind of, it sort of sets off this like drinking spiral, this alcohol spiral that he's in. And he meets Lee Remick's character and they hit it off. And at first she's not a drinker and she kind of slowly falls into a lifestyle of excessive alcohol use. And this whole movie is them dealing with that alcoholism that they both are struggling with. And it's one of those movies that is just watch two actors do their thing and watch them do it well. Okay? Very much that kind of picture. Again, there are moments, just like I said with Wild River, where Lee Remick there's one moment I'm thinking of particularly where she has to deliver a certain sort of speech in a hotel kind of situation, and exact, precise acting is required for that to work. You know, she has to have the right facial expressions. She has to move correctly. It's a real, well, it's not a joy to watch, but from an acting perspective, she's just fantastic in it. And I think I think of these three movies, this is the one I like the best, as tough as it is to watch. You know, for her to go up against Jack Lemmon, right beside of Jack Lemmon, an all-time great actor, and really to hold her own and in some cases steal the show is quite impressive. So, A Face in the Crowd, Wild River, Days of Wine and Roses, three recommendations with Lee Remick, an actress that I hope now you'll check out if you haven't before. And let me know what you think in the comments. Have you seen other movies that you like with her in it? I picked 3 that I enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.